Caution: this game contains scenes of violence and gore, as well as depictions of criminal acts. These acts are strictly punished by law. Please do not attempt to imitate them. This game also contains themes of sexual violence and self-harm. This game is a work of fiction. Any relationship to real persons, groups, places, or crimes is coincidental. Inside an old building near Shibuya Station's east entrance. The rest of the buildings were either partially or completely destroyed, but this one wasn't. On its roof was a planetarium, one which had closed several years earlier. I headed up the empty stairwell, gasping for breath, and went through the deathly quiet lobby into the planetarium itself. I gasped when I saw the huge device inside. The awe-inspiring sight of Noah 2, a chill that threatened to steal away my body's warmth, and next to it, a bizarre object that felt like some kind of artwork.
Rimi.
It was shaped something like a cross, and Rimi was bound to it. She slowly looked up when she heard my voice. Our eyes met. Her eyes went wide. Why?
どうして君を
To save you.
助けに
Her eyes went wide.
バカだよ
You fool! She shook her head sadly.
キスだらけになってそんな無茶して待っててって言ったのになんで
Because I love you. Because I love you, Rimi. But I couldn't say that. Covered in blood with one arm crushed, I couldn't tell her what I'd come to save her because I love her. I was nowhere near being a knight in shining armor, and she'd probably think I was creepy anyway. I was basically a stalker, right? Even now, if I told her how I felt, it would just be a nuisance to her. After this, she was going to live out the rest of her life. After this, I was going to die. Telling her how I felt would only give her bad memories. So instead, I said something else.
君にこれを返したくて
I could barely move my right hand, the one with the D sword, strapped to it. I struggled and strained to move my fingers, pulling a handkerchief from my pocket. It was soft red. I couldn't tell if it was the shade of red to begin with, or if it was my stained blood. It was the handkerchief Rimi had given me. It didn't smell like flowers anymore.
僕は
I'm going to get you out of here.
君をここから助け出してノア2を壊し
Destroy Noah 2
このハンカチを
and give back this handkerchief. That was all I could do. But once that was done, I'd have no regrets when I disappeared. And honestly, I didn't think I could do anything more than that. All my senses felt like they were going numb. Maybe the pain was so bad that my brain had shut off sensation from some of my nerves. I could barely move my body. More and more! Blood poured from my arm. My eyes were blurry. It felt so cold, like I might pass out the second I let my guard down. You're a very brave boy. You're the biggest boy. A tall man, Genichi Norose, stepped out from behind the shadow of Noah 2. He was clapping. There was no expression on his face. You have a fatal flaw, though. Your actions are driven by emotions. That makes you no better than a barbarian. I couldn't really understand what he was saying. It was all I could do to process the pain. I couldn't deal with any words except Rimi's. The minority must be sacrificed to protect the interests of the majority. Do you think that's evil? I certainly don't. Humanity's current path will inevitably lead to its destruction. Human greed guarantees it. The human heart is an ugly, ugly thing. A flood of selfish desires. Human society is already on the verge of collapse and rot. Everyone thinks of only themselves, and their selfishness drives them to kill and steal. If you've truly awakened as a Gigalomaniac, then you must have seen for yourself what the human mind truly is. I awoke when I was young. I've seen it for decades. The Committee of 300 says they're working to stop mankind from destroying itself, but their real goal is to turn the entire world's population into cattle. They call it the Human Cultivation Project. And even that, in the end, is just an attempt to satiate their own egos. My goal is a far grander one. I realized something very important, you see. If I was going to rebuild this rotten world, simply changing the social order wouldn't be sufficient. I would need to change the hearts of all mankind. See, my true name is Genichi Amamiya. Thus, Project Noah. Please say it, please say it. With Noah 2, I will eliminate all negative delusions from the human heart. I will make it pure and clean. War will disappear, and I will give mankind eternal peace. In your case, no one would look down on you anymore. An arc to the new world. His long speech finally. I really wish he said an arc to the new world, but it would be cliche. I almost fell, and I'd spent all my strength trying to keep myself upright. I'd been lucky. He'd given me a chance to rest for a little. What you're saying might be right. Not that I'd heard all of what he said. What he was saying was probably the best for humanity's future. It was probably a wonderful thing, I thought. Nodosei was the CEO of a huge company, a good, just man, concerned with the well-being of all humanity. And I was a monster, a loser, a creepy otaku, just here to save a girl for the sake of my selfish ego. Normally, I'd be the bad guy, Twitch's hentai. The monster would be defeated, and the good would just win. But I can't lose to you. Why do you refuse it? For the sake of my own self-satisfaction. Unfortunate. Nodosei kept his eyes on me as he grabbed Rini by the collar and pulled her down. Bitch, get the fuck down here! He reached out towards the strange artwork. It's his D-sword. Oh my god, why did I not notice that sooner? This nigga... Oh. Yeah! And then in an instant, the thing attached itself to Nodosei's hand. It was no artwork, no cross to crucify someone on. It was a D-sword, and too far huge to be called a sword. Cruel, cold, spreader of terror, tainted gospel, pandemonium chaos, tyrannical blasphemy, evil pure and clean. Head Noah like a gate to hell, stealing away the hearts of all who saw it and trapping them in a cycle of eternal torment. All the world's ills mixed and made manifest. I gulped once in fear, but I'd made my decision to come here. I held the D-sword up. It was still attached to my hand by the string. And I took a step towards Noah 2, which meant getting closer to Nodosei. The reach of his weapon was far longer than mine. I find duels to the death with swords a barbaric concept, but not something I'd say I'd sell in. I do, however, need your code sample, and for that, I need to neutralize you. Nodosei was tall, but the blade was far taller than him. He swung it at me with one hand. It was a heavy strike that threatened to crush anything in its path. My arm was slow to response, just tensing it up made pain go shooting through it. But I forced myself to raise my fight, or raise my bat anyway. Bitch! I blocked his D-sword. An old blade would have shattered in pieces from the impact, especially since mine was so thin. It was the opposite of the massive weapon in his hands. But the D-sword didn't break. Somehow I managed to deflect Nodosei's first attack. My hand went numb. Without a left hand, I couldn't keep my balance. I almost fell backward. It almost knocked me away, but I somehow endured. And blocked his second attack. He was fast, far faster than me. Don't let the way swords look deceive you, I told myself. A battle of strength, a tiny, delicate sword, and a powerful, vicious one. For now, I was matching him blow for blow, but there was no telling how long that would last. A fourth strike, the swords collided. He changed the way he was holding the blade. It looked like he was holding the grip of the sword tighter. His D-sword began to vibrate. There was an eerie sound as it transformed. The edge of the blade cut open like scissors as it raced toward my chest. I realized it too late, but this change would prove to be a fatal one for me. Resistance. I brought the blade down in front of me, but it was too late. The two ends of the sword stabbed into my chest. A cruel smile appeared on Norase's face. He relaxed his grip. The two pincers drew closer. Oh! They tore through my chest, my ribs, my lungs, my body. I forced myself to take a step back. Norase swung his arm to the side. I saw fresh blood spurt out in front of my eyes. The pain ran through my whole body. I thought my senses had all gone numb. But the pain was so bad I wanted to scream. My jaw clenched and tried not to pass out. My chest was torn open, sliced into mincemeat. If I hadn't taken that step back, he would have gotten my heart too. Blood spurted everywhere. I almost fell, but I stayed on my feet. I can't die. I can't make it all the way here and then die. I ignored Norase. I headed towards Noa 2 where Remy was collapsed. Remy lifted her head just a little to look up at me. She was probably exhausted and weak. She probably couldn't stand. Either from exhaustion or my injuries. My vision was all blurry. I couldn't tell what the expression on her face was. I couldn't look her in the eye. I didn't want her to see me like this, covered in blood, getting my ass kicked. I still had some tiny, miserable sense of pride. I was going to die either way, but it still mattered to me how I looked to her. I kept going towards Noa 2. I wasn't strong enough, close enough, to hit it with my D-sword. Strangely, Norase wasn't following me. And then a melody filled the dome. Torianse! Noa 2 rose in front of me. The sound it was making grew higher in pitch. Something strange and unknowable was working within its terrifying mechanisms. I paused for a moment in fear, but then slowly raised the sword to my wrist. I aimed for the tube-covered, almost organic object in front of me. I swung the sword. Suddenly I realized Noa 2 had disappeared from my vision. For some reason I had my back to it. Just tried to destroy it. Hadn't turned that far away from it at all, but I was facing away from it nonetheless. Norase was in front of me, right where I'd seen Noa 2 in my blurry vision a moment ago. I turned around and swung the D-sword again. Even though I thought I'd turned around, I hadn't. I had the intent to turn around, made the motions to turn around, but I hadn't actually turned around. I was confused. Noa 2's self-defense system, you could call it. His quiet voice echoed through the dorm, and mixed with the melody of Torianse. It distorts the will of anyone who approaches it. No one can approach Noa 2, except me. He finished speaking, and he walked over to me with steady, elegant steps. He slowly raised the massive D-sword above his head. I gripped my teeth. I lodged too much blood and couldn't think, but still I raised my almost entirely numb right hand. My right hand, which could barely move from the pain, and tried to ready myself for his next attack. Hey, can any of the other 7 bum-ass Knights of Glacial show up? You know, ISA fucking hyped this all up, but the only person here fighting this nigga is me. Everybody else is fucking emotionally injured. The D-sword was only tied to my hand with a string. The intense impact knocked it away. It went rolling along the floor, far away from where I was. I watched it fly away from me in shock. And when I turned my gaze back to Nodase, I could see him chuckling. The melody had changed. It was an unnerving one now. One that seemed to be a warning of something. Allow me to deny you your very existence. He was readying his next attack. He was about to bring it down. His D-sword was far too destructive, far too violent, far too powerful. And I was unarmed. I had nothing to block his attacks with. I was helpless. Rimi ran between the two of us. I could feel her body against my face. Rimi's chest. She wrapped herself around me. She was protecting me. Nodase sighed softly before lowering the blade. Rimi had saved me again, even though I was the one who'd come to save her. I was so pathetic. Frustrated and angry, I slid my right hand between the... Nigga, what? I could feel the warm, slightly rough sensation of the underwear she was wearing. The pain of the wound in my chest. But, I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, what? Wait, the warmth of them... We were doing so well! We were doing so good! We were doing so good! And then this nigga pulled out Issei move! And Issei, this is High School DxD, get your hand out of her blouse! She gets into the shit! Oh my god, we were doing so good! The worst he had done was try to rape Senna and his delusions. That was the worst he had done yet. That was the... This nigga was lame. Oh my god. You're telling me we were getting saved by some lame looking ass niggas this whole time? And you know, I was willing to deal with it. I was willing to say this is big fiction anyway. But now he's doing it in reality. Fuck this visual novel. Rimi's underwear, Rimi's bare skin. I ripped the buttons on the blouse. I tore them apart, the clothes can... Nigga, what are you doing? What the fuck? Oh, fuck. Alright, whatever. Rimi Twister, but, you know, you could literally have... I know why he's doing this, probably. You could have done literally anything else to get her away from you, to stop protecting you, instead of just sexually assaulting her. Like, assaulting, like... Even after I let her go, she covered her chest with her bare hands, so... She tried to save me. Why had I done that? What was I doing, especially at a time like this? Why was I making her cry? The truth is... Where the fuck is this coming from? Oh, it's Noah too. Why did I gasp? Because the voice was right? Right! Right! Nigga, what do you mean right? Oh, fuck. Okay. Noah 2, it probably has something to do with this. That still means that this is like one of his inner desires. You know, I never in a million years thought, oh man, you know, I really like this girl, I want to rape her. Fuck, dude. We were doing so good. Everything was going along so well. I was really enjoying this so much. And then we started getting saved by some lame looking ass niggas. Fuck. It was me, it was the voice of my heart, my real feelings. Your real feelings, nigga. Why are those your real feelings? What happened to luck is your one shot. If you don't take it, Shogun's gonna take her instead. Okay, this cannot be how he really feels on the inside. This cannot be how he really feels inside. I refuse to believe that my nigga is lame as fuck, but I refuse to believe that this is what he truly feels. I wanted to put my hands over my ears. I couldn't. I didn't have a left hand anymore. Rimi was crying. She was too much of a mess to even fix her clothes. Looking at her made her feel like crushing a pain in my heart. All that stuff about being okay if she didn't love you back? Oh, bullshit. I'm not saying that shit, nigga. Norose will give you that much time. That's just Noah too. I'm gonna die anyways. Who gives a shit if she hates me? Let's die doing what we want. Our past is so pathetic that everybody will feel sympathy for us. Even if we do something bad, nobody will blame us. That was my delusion, a bad habit of mine. So I needed to make sure I didn't listen, make sure it didn't influence me. My weak heart was trying to lead me to take the bad way out, the easy way out. Right now, I couldn't listen to... I'm sorry, the easy way out to what? This isn't suicide, this is rape. And anyways, Rimi said she felt bad for me. If she meant it, she'd let me do it. What the fuck happened? No, we're gonna ignore it. We're gonna say that this is Noah 2 fucking with his head, and that he doesn't actually mean any of these things. And we're gonna just understand that there's some very strong subject matter to deal with right now. And we're gonna keep moving along to hopefully see that the story uses it well. Or at least uses it... Okay, it's not gonna use it well, but it won't use it untastefully, right? Right? It's not W themes and character development, but it won't be W fantasy fulfillment. I yelled to break the weakness in my heart, to blow it away. Fortunately, the voice disappeared. Rimi wasn't crying anymore. She'd been covering her face with her hands, but now she'd lowered them. She gave me a cold glance of disgust. See, look! Her eyes are dead. And that's not because she was about to be raped by Takumi. That's just because Noah 2 is at fuckery right now. Norose is really trying to fuck everybody. Norose is just fucking with y'all at this point. The budget cuts. That budget cuts. I went to throw myself at her win. I'm sorry. A huge stake burst through the concrete floor. Its pointed tip stabbed right into my crotch. I couldn't understand what was going on. My legs left the floor. I couldn't escape. The stake worked its way deeper into my body. The pain was unbelievable, but not enough to kill me. The stake kept growing taller until it lifted me a full meter off the ground. The slightest movement caused intense pain in my crotch. I couldn't move an inch. I wanted somebody to save me. I looked down at Rimi with pleading eyes, but she ignored me and walked over to Norose. And she crouched down like she was exhausted. Both Rimi and Norose were watching me in my ugliness. They were just watching me expressionlessly. Neither tried to help. Did you know? Impalement with a stake was once a popular form of torture all around the world. What makes it unique is that it takes 3 full days to die. The body's weight presses down, allowing the stake to work its way inside. The trick is not to make the end too sharp, you see. This ensures the organs remain undamaged and prolongs the time before death. And when the stake bursts from their mouth or the shoulder, the execution is complete. I'll be watching you until that happens for the next 3 days. Until you die. She seems to feel the same way. Remy slowly nodded. Of course, it's possible that blood loss from your chest or arm injuries will kill you before that. This was a delusion. He was attacking me with a delusion. I kept telling myself that. The real me wasn't being impaled, I was simply standing in front of Noah too. I was hallucinating, that's what I believed. That's what I had to believe. 3 days, 72 hours, 4,320 minutes, 259,200 seconds. If I could endure that, the world would end. It would have to end. It would be so much easier if I could fall asleep or pass out, but unfortunately, I couldn't. The pain wouldn't let me. That's what made this such an effective method of torture. If this kept up, I was going to go crazy. Just a moment ago, I'd been planning to find some way to endure it, but now I felt nothing but despair. Thought of the long hours that waited for me until my death drove me away. Any emotions except despair. I wish she'd just kill me. How much time had passed? There were no clocks around me, I couldn't tell. I wanted to see a clock, but if I did, the slowness of the seconds would break me. I grit my teeth. A waterfall of sweat was pouring off my body. My throat felt parched. I quenched it with blood that would sometimes work its way up from my stomach. And inside my body, I could feel the stake working its way gradually up, digging deeper inside me. I could feel it inside me. The budget cuts. The meetings. Whatever the last thing he said when he was fucking his husband, Monty. The pain and fear were making me crazy. Every 5 minutes, I would pass out from the pain and wake up again. What I learned is that when I passed out, my body would relax and the stake would go faster. Of course, the pain would get vastly worse, and then the pain would wake me up. I would writhe from the pain, unable to move, and then, to escape it, I'd pass out. This horrible cycle repeated again and again. Even when I was awake, my vision was blurring. For some reason, the pain felt a little better. My vision was dim. I thought that maybe it was night. There were no windows in the dome. That couldn't be it. It was probably from a lack of blood, I thought. There were very small amounts of blood trickling from my chest to my left arm. If only more would come out, I could die an easy death from blood loss before the stake killed me. Oh, I can do that. Okay. I had the idea of trying to move my left arm, the one that no longer existed below the elbow. But it wouldn't move. The nerves are probably dead. Was this really a delusion? And would it end? Would it really end? What proof did I have to begin with? And I thought it was a delusion. How could I tell it was a delusion? What if it was real? I could endure all I wanted and I'd still just die. There was no point in trying to endure it at all. So why was I doing it anyway? I was a moron. An idiot. A total idiot. Die. I meant that too. It wasn't something I was just saying. I should just die now. I'm sick of the pain. Sick of the suffering. I should bite my tongue clean off. Then it would all be over. Just let me go. This is delusion, right?
死ぬ死ぬ死ぬ死ぬ死ぬ死ぬ痛い死ぬ死ぬ死ぬ死ぬ死ぬ死ぬ死ぬ痛い死ぬ死ぬ
More blood came from my chest. I ceased to be able to breathe. No matter how much I tried to suck in oxygen, all I did was make a strange, ridiculous whistling sound in my throat. I could see the stake poking up through the wound in my chest. Spat out blood. Opened my mouth again and again in search of oxygen. and relieved I could die soon.
そろそろですね。
I think it's about time. I heard Norosei's voice. I could sense him right in front of me. But he was nowhere to be seen. My eyes couldn't see anything now. I'd been suffering, impaled on the stake for so long, that I totally forgot about him and Remy. Was Remy still nearby? It didn't even matter, though. I was busy trying to breathe. For a while now, I'd been using all my strength and nerves to do that.
君が無事死ぬ
Before I let you enjoy your death, though, I'll get
彼女を
rid of
始
her.
末しておきましょう。
I didn't understand what he was saying. I didn't have time to think.
私を
You're going to kill me?
へえ、そういうことです。
Yes, that's correct.
遺言をどう
Go ahead and say your last words. Holy voice crack. Sorry, Taku. I couldn't save
僕
you.
のこと助けてあげられなかった。
I could hear her dying screams. I heard the sound of somebody falling. She'd been shot and killed, I thought. I felt no emotion. I was too busy. I went back to my job, trying to breathe. And then I was stunned at myself. What was the point of this? Why was I trying so hard to breathe? This wasn't fair. I felt something hot run down my cheeks. Maybe I was crying, but I had no way to know. I'd hung in there for 3 days, and I was almost to the end, and I lost her. I'm sorry, Remy. I'm the one who apologized. I couldn't protect you. There was no sense in living anymore. I released all the tension in my body. I could feel myself sinking faster. Something was in my throat. I couldn't breathe at all. It was rising up. I came back to my senses. The sense of having something inside my body disappeared. I wasn't impaled. The only blood was on my chest and my left arm. How much of that had been an illusion? My brain's processing speed. I couldn't keep up. I couldn't understand what was going on. No, I said it was in front of me. The D-sword held high.
帰ってきました
So, you're back.
あなたが体験し
The
た
3 days you experienced were only a second in the real world.
現実とは一番しか経っていません
Fucking okay, Itachi, whatever the fuck you say. So it was a delusion.
妄想
I whispered, relieved. Notice's D-sword came down like a hurricane. My top half fell away from my bottom half. My vision tilted. From the waist down, I was still standing. From the waist up, I was falling. My body had been sliced in two. The cut was unbelievably clean. Ah! I stared at my lower half, confused. I didn't want to admit this could be real. Was this a delusion? I hoped it was a delusion. Please be a delusion. Wait, so I didn't actually try to rape her? Okay, good. See, look. See, look, guys, I told you it would all work out in the end. The story didn't redeem itself, but it made it slightly better by having it not actually have happened and only be a delusion.
その状態で
Torture.
死ぬまで数分
Even in that state, it will take a few minutes for you to die. It was just torture. He was torturing Takumi by making him think that he was gonna rape, that he truly wanted to rape Remy, but he really doesn't, and this is definitely isn't cope.
元医師である
I
私
used
が
to be a doctor, you know. You can trust me on this one.
その間に
I suppose I should get your code sample while you're still alive. I crawled. I moved my body forward using just my right hand toward Remy's voice. I wanted to touch her. I had to save her. Remy. Right hand forward. 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 I stretched it out. But I didn't know where Remy was. I couldn't reach her. I couldn't reach anyone. You're a tough man. Crunch. The sound of cracking bones. Notice's leather shoe had come down on my extended right hand.
さすがバカ
You're not a man, though, are you? You're a monster.
そのノロ
Notice's legs started to shimmer in the air, like a mirage.
床のタイルの模
The
様
pattern
が
on the
ぼんやり
tile,
とし
floor
始め
tile
て
started to blur.
天地が回転
Heaven and earth spun.
床と天井が
Floor and
逆
ceiling
に
were
なる
reversed.
僕は
I was
天井
clinging
に
to the
這いつく
ceiling.
ばっている両断された腰か
Blood
ら
was pouring from my
もの
severed
すごい
torso.
勢いで血が噴き出す限界にした
Like a
蛇口の
faucet opened all the way.
血が
The blood was
体
draining through
か
my
ら抜け
body.
ていく。そのまま腕の
Even
傷
my
口を
organs
通
started
っ
to
て
pour out
内
from
臓
the
ま
wound
で
in
流
my
れ
arm.
出る。意識がスーッ
I
と
started
遠
to
くな
black
る。
out,
でも
but I couldn't
完
black out all
全
the
には
way.
途切れない。血だまりがで
A
きて
puddle of blood formed.
僕はその真
I
紅
was
の
lying
海
in
に
the
身を横た
crimson
えて
sea.
ドクンドクンと鼓動する心
A
臓
beating
が
heart
僕の目の前に
right in
転
front
が
of
ってい
me.
て血だまりに波紋を
Ripples formed in the pool of blood.
その波紋をぼん
I
やり
stared
見
at
て
it
い
in a
たら
daze.
僕の形が崩れ
And
た
I lost my shape.
人としての形を
I
維
ceased to
持
be
でき
able
る
to maintain my human shape.
僕と世界との
The
境
boundary
界が
between
消
me and the
失
rest
す
of the
る
world disappeared.
肉が溶け
Flesh melted.
骨がゴムのように
Bone
曲
bit
がる
like
眼
rubber.
球は四角にな
Eyeballs
り
became square.
口から
My lungs
裏返
turned
った肺
inside
が
out
こぼ
too,
れ出し
spilled out from my mouth.
神経は
My
数万
nerves
キロ
were
メートルも引
stretched
っ
out a
張ら
million
れ
kilometers.
脳は
Every
シワ
wrinkle
の
in my
一つ
brain was
一つを
carefully
丁寧
flattened
に
out.
伸ばされ体はブヨ
My
ブヨ
body
になる
turned to jelly.
空気に溶けてい
I
く
was melting in the air.
右手が糸の
My
よう
right
に伸
arm
び
was
て
stretched out like a thread.
プラネタリウムを
Out
出
of
て
the
いく
planetarium,
それは飴細工の
wandered
よう
the
に
skies of Shibuya.
渋谷の空を
Like
さまよ
cotton
って
candy,
コーネリア
it
スタ
wrapped
ワ
itself
ーに
around and around Cornelius
Kuru,
Tower.
巻きつく
Wrapped
何度も
around and around and
Nando.
around and around and
Nando.
around and around and around.
別れた
My
足が
legs started to
膨れ
plump
て
up.
るブクブクと
Plump, plump,
水風船みた
like
い
water
パ
balloons.
ンパンに
Balloon, balloon, my skin
皮膚が伸び
stretched.
て
I like
ギチギ
balloons.
チ
It made a
音を立ててる
stretch sound.
液状か
Was I liquid?
肉も
My meat and my
骨も
bones.
とろけて
They melted into
ふ
a
くら
puddle
は
at
ぎ
my
に溜まって
calves.
る腰から
Tiny head
ニョ
went
キ
pop
って
as it
小さ
appeared
な
out of my
頭が
west.
生えてぎょろりとした
Its
白い
big
目
white
が
eyes looked around and
僕を
around
見
and
た
then
よ
at me.
そしたら
And then
僕
my
の
head
頭が
went
ぐしゃ
splurt.
って潰されたどっちの頭か
I
は
don't
よ
know
く
which
わ
head
かんない潰れて
It was
トロ
crushed
ト
and
ロ
it got
にな
all
って
messy.
ビルの床
It sank through the floor of the
コン
building
ク
through the
リート
gaps in
の
the
分
concrete
子の隙間
molecules.
を抜けて落ちていく
And
地
it
上
fell
へ
all the way to the
You
ground.
did.
Drip, drip, drip.
地面につ
And
く
when it hit
る
the ground,
どろりとした
it made a puddle of
脳
gooey
み
gooey
その水
brains.
たまりもぞもぞ
Rustle, rustle, chew, chew,
Mogo,
slurp,
mogo.
slurp, ooey, gooey,
ジ
shake,
ュル
shake,
ジュル
bounce, bounce,
Doro,
drip,
doro.
drip, splurt,
プ
splurt,
ルプル
crunch, crunch.
ビヨンビヨンビチャビチャぐじゅぐじゅぐちゃりぐちゃり僕は二つになる二つが四つ
Now
にな
two
る
becomes four.
四つが
Now
八つ
four
になる
becomes eight.
八つが四
Eight
つに
becomes four.
二つが八つ
Two
に
becomes eight.
四つが四つに
Four becomes
ど
four.
んどん増
More
え
and
て
more appear.
どんどん減
More
る
and more appear.
僕がいっぱい
Lots of me.
僕がいない
None of me.
僕は
What
何
am I?
僕って
Just what
None.
am I?
何って
Am I what?
僕
I
何
what?
何区がなぼ
Wham.
になぼ
Wabati.
ぼに
Wa.
なく
Te. Mat.
な
Well, what?
君は妄想なんかじゃない
You're
よ。
not a delusion.
れ
Huh? Ah?
だ
見てごらん。
Look.
西条七海が
Nanami Nishijo is praying.
兄と共に
She
収
and her
容され
brother
た
were
病
sent
院
here. They're in the corner of a
怪
waiting
我人
room
があふれた
overflowed with injured
待合
people.
室の片隅にうずくまり、実の兄の
She's holding
し
her
わ
real
くちゃの
brother's
手を
wrinkly
握りしめ
hands.
て、右手の痛みに耐
Enduring the
えて、
pain in her own right hand,
目を閉じて
she's closing her
祈る。
eyes and praying,
もう一人の
praying for the
兄の
safety
無
of
事
her
を。
other brother.
楠木優
Yua
愛が
Kusunoki
祈る。
is praying.
倒壊したビ
In
ル
the
の瓦
rubble
礫、
of a collapsed building inside a large shipping
そ
crate,
こに埋もれるよう
half
に
buried
横
and
たわ
lying
る
on
コ
its
ン
side.
テナの中で、彼の美少
She's
女フ
holding
ィ
one
ギュ
of
アの
his
一
anime
つを
figures in
握
her
りしめて、
hands.
地震と火
The
事で
damage from the fires and the
醜く
earthquake
変
have
形し
warped
て
his
しまっ
figures
た
almost beyond
フィギュア
recognition.
たちの
It
姿
hurt her
に
to see it,
感じ
but she
た
endures.
胸の痛みに耐え、目を閉じて
She's closing her eyes and
彼
praying
女を許
for the
してくれ
safety
た
of the boy who
少
forgave
年の
her.
無事を。岸本綾
Ayase
瀬が祈る
Kishimoto is praying.
避難所となって
At
いる
Suimei
水
Academy,
明
now a
学園。
shelter for the survivors, she's on the
そ
roof
の
of the
校舎
school
の
looking
屋
up
上
at
で
the sky.
空を見上げて、神話が書か
In
れ
her
た
hand, she
文庫
holds a
本を
paperback
握りしめ
book
て、
filled with myths and
崩
legends.
壊した渋
An
谷を
uncountable
覆
number
う
of delusions cover what remains
不
of
特定
Shibuya.
多数の妄想が見せる悪意の痛みに耐え、目を閉じて
She's closing her
祈る。
eyes and
彼
praying
女の歌を
for the safety of the
彼女の
boy who
話を
listened to her and her
聞いてくれ
songs.
た少年の無事を。折原梢
Kozue
が
Orihara
祈る。
is praying.
新鮮駅
In the
の
dim light of the
薄暗い
platform at
ホーム、
Shinsen Station,
青井瀬名の
she's holding
震
Aoi
える
Sena's
手を
trembling
握りしめ
hands.
て、足の傷の痛み
Enduring the
に耐
pain
え
in
て、
her injured leg,
目を閉じて
she's closing her
Inor.
eyes and
心
praying
の声で語
for the
り合っ
safety of
た
her classmate who she
クラ
spoke
ス
to
メ
in
ート
her
の
heart.
少年の無事を。青井瀬名が
Aoi
祈
Sena
る。
is praying.
横たわる
She's
父
sitting
の
next to
傍
her
ら
father
に
as
座
he
り、
lies on the ground,
父の冷たく
clutching
なっ
his
た手を
cold,
握
stiff
りしめて、
hands,
最後まで
suffering from the pain that overcame, never being honest about what she truly wanted, even at the
目を
very
閉
end.
じて、
She's closing her eyes and
彼
praying
女の
for
お
the
願い
safety
に
of the boy who tried to
不
grant
器
her
用な
wish
がら
in his
答え
own
ようと
awkward
してく
way.
れた少年の無事を。咲畑リミ
Rimi
が
Sakihara is
祈
praying,
る。冷たい床に
lying
横
on the
たわりな
cold
がら、
floor,
彼へ伸ばした自
clenching
ら
the
の
hand
手
she
を
stretched out toward
き
him
つく
tightly.
握りしめて、傷だらけの彼
During
の
the
姿
pain
を
she
見
feels in
て
her
感じ
heart
た。
when she looks at his terrible wounds.
締め付けられるような胸の痛みに耐えて、目を閉じて
She's closing her eyes and
自
praying
分が守ろ
for
う
the
とした
safety of the boy she tried to
自
protect.
分を助けに来てくれた少年の無事を。
僕は何もできな
I
かっ
was
た。
helpless to do anything.
君が
You're the
行動した
one who took action.
その結果として
And because of that,
みんなが君の
everyone
こと
saw
を見てき
you.
た。君という周囲
A shared
共通の意
awareness
識
of your existence was already created a long time ago.
これからは
From now on, no, even in this very
もう
instant,
すでに君こそが
you are the real
僕、
me.
僕は、
Who am I?
君は
Who are you?
誰？
Who?
僕は、
I am.
その声が聞こえ
The
た
second I heard that voice,
意識が
my mind fixed me in place.
ぐちゃぐちゃにかき
The messed up, mixed up world came together in an instant.
収束する。混沌は
The chaos converged in the form of my D sword.
僕は
I
僕として
regained
の
my
形
shape.
に戻る。世界は
The world
世界としての
regained its
形
shape.
に戻る。僕は僕だ。
My vision became clear again. My wounds were healed. My top and bottom were connected once more. I was standing on my own 2 feet. The pain was completely gone. My heart was completely at peace.
妄想によく打ち
Good, you defeated the
僕
delusion.
の最後の力を
I'll entrust you with the last of my power.
君に託すよ
I could see Rimi in the corner of my vision. She was safe. She was looking at me. She was crying. Don't cry. I gripped the D-sword's handle. I held it tight. I felt its sensation in my hands. My arms were moving. They were completely restored.
これは
This is A truly interesting phenomenon. You, monster! I looked straight at Norosei.
確かに
Yeah,
僕は
I may be a monster. But this is to save Rimi, to destroy Noah
僕が
too.
望んだ妄想
The delusion I once desired. Norosei's response was fast. He still didn't have Takumi Nishicho's code sample. He thought he pushed the boy to the brink with a delusion attack, but by now the tables had almost completely turned. He couldn't let that happen. Norosei charged. He brought his D-sword from up below. He sliced across Takumi's chest. The D-sword could cut through anything. It didn't matter what it was. Cutting through a human was no more difficult than cutting through jelly. Norosei's lightning-fast attack sliced Takumi in two. But there was no blood. Takumi's lower half almost fell. But it didn't. It was still standing. And in the next moment, that's bullshit! Uninjured, as if it never happened. Then he regenerated. The body that had been sliced apart just a second ago had already grown a new head, a new right arm, a new right
性格
shoulder.
は遮断した
I shut off my sense of pain. Takumi took a step towards Norosei. Norosei grimaced. He flipped the D-sword over. So, since you abandoned the shape of your body, you can take any shape you
あん
want?
たの見せてくれた
It's thanks to that illusion you
本
showed
当
me.
だよ
He hadn't been able to maintain his shape as a human, but he had taken that delusion and made it his own. He wasn't regenerating, he was replenishing. The lost parts were made from the infinitely multiplying dust inside of him, formed into flesh and bones. His shape wasn't fixed. Like an amoeba, like a slime, he could change it to be whatever he wanted. This was the reason Takumi had called himself a monster. His legs took another step forward to Norosei. Norosei's frustration increased. He held the grip of his D-sword and stretched it out towards the approaching Takumi. The huge scissors stretched out toward either side of the boy's head. You can't have delusions without a brain, can you? He crushed it, as one side would smash a watermelon. Blood spurted everywhere, but Takumi's body kept going forward. The regeneration, replenishing, only took an instant. When his foot touched the ground, it's as if nothing ever happened. As if it had been replaced with a new one. His head was there, undamaged. Norosei understood. He couldn't win. No physical attacks with his D-sword would be effective. His enemy had taken his delusion attack, his attempt to deny their existence, and turned it to their advantage. In this moment, Takumi Nishijo was so far beyond human, so twisted in existence, so perfect a monster. But Norosei couldn't give up. He thought of using Noah 2's blaster to power with Takumi's countless antiparticles. Nothing could withstand collision with antiparticles without turning into negative matter and collapsing in on itself. If destruction from the outside was impossible, he would have to destroy his foe from the inside.
そうなんだね
Good idea. Takumi had read Norosei's thoughts. What? The light of Takumi's D-sword changed from red to black. Black flame shrouded the blade. It roared and stretched out. It was as if it was a huge black snake.
そして
And then
現れるの
it will appear. It wandered the room, too big for the dome. It scraped against the roof. It scraped against the floor. It was as if it was eating away at them both, devouring them.
邪神の黒き
The great black serpent of wicked hearts, that which is the same yet different, which swallows all destruction and can shatter the body of the king of wicked hearts.
異質なる
The snake's body was composed of antiparticles, particles which could cause anything they touched to collapse in on itself. It was an all-devouring torrent of
手
destruction.
芸はあんま
Tentacle games aren't really my thing, but I'll make an exception for you. Takumi swung the D-sword where he stood. He pointed the tip at Norosei. The circling snake snapped its body like a whip, and its jaw bit down on Norosei. You can't possibly be this powerful! Norosei had never seen a D-sword do something like this. He couldn't tell if this was Takumi's delusion or some hidden gigalomaniac power. The black fangs were eating away at his body. He was falling apart, but it was so slow, like a frog being devoured in the belly of a snake. The darkness Really, nigga? The darkness was slowly swallowing him up. He felt no pain. Death should have been an instant. But Takumi didn't want that. Nonose realized this and laughed bitterly. He wasn't afraid of death. His ideal completion of Noah 2 was at hand. You can kill me, but no one can approach Noah 2! It's a perpetual motion machine. It will rule over mankind for all eternity. It won't just sit there silently. It's an artificial god which will make mankind happy. In a way, Norase was the creator of a god. As long as Nora 2 existed, humanity would not go extinct. Norase's utopia would be realized. But you can just get close to it, right? What? The snake holding Norase began to move. It raised his body up high. That means you're the key! Norase's expression was one of pure shock, but it quickly changed into one of pain. The snake flung his body around in a circle like it weighed nothing. Takumi gave a quick glance at Rimi. Their eyes met. What was she thinking right now? It would be so easy to read her mind, but Takumi didn't. Looks like I was able to save you. He quickly looked away. His gaze was now fixed on Noah 2, still emitting its roar. The seat of God, which none could approach, a cradle that showed happy dreams. I'm sorry, he whispered to no one in particular. I might be humanity's enemy, I guess. This machine would create an eternal paradise. A future without conflict. And now Takumi was about to ruin that future. Whatever that was right or wrong, Takumi didn't know. But you see it all the time in myths, right? God screwing up things for the sake of a girl. So I think I'll do the same. Sacrificing humanity's happiness for the sake of a girl he loved. Takumi drew the hand which held his D-sword behind his body. And then thrust it forward like a spear. The black snake charged forward in a straight line. Its prey, Norose, was impaled on its fangs. It raced towards Noah 2. A spear of pure antiparticles. It had no will of its own, thus there was nothing for Noah 2 to disrupt. The all-encompassing torrent of destruction used Norose as its key and easily broke through the delusion barrier. Bye-bye!
あなたを見つめる妄想。殺してあげる。殺さなくちゃいけないの。